Okay.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Faith Day 14. Hope you guys are doing amazing today. We have a smorgasbord of Janices today, myself, my daughter, and my mom, who's done some of these with us before, so I'm excited to hear her thoughts on the topic of grief, which is our journey this month. So I'm just going to read the devotion, and then I'm going to let her give her thoughts on it. So let's jump in. The passage comes from Psalm 34:19, and it says this: "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." And if you continue to read the devotion, it says this: "It's inevitable at some point in your grief process, you're bound to ask the question, why? Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this?" In most cases, the answer is nothing. There is nothing you did to deserve what you've gone through or what you're going through. Grief, calamity, and pain are not punishment from God. They exist in our world, and they are a very real part of our lives. But the presence of hurt and pain does not mean the absence of God. Even the most righteous of people grieve. Cancer does not have a bias, the stock market does not work for the benefit of every person, and relationships are never guaranteed to be problem-free. Despite these harsh realities, there's a great reality, and it's this: God will deliver you no matter what you're going through and what you're facing. So I'd love my mom to give her thoughts on this, and one piece I want her to hit on, and I know she will, is the question of why is this happening to me? Why does this happen to me? Why is God doing this to me? I'm a good person. Why is this happening? Is the question I know a lot of us have asked ourselves. So Mom, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, grief is common to everybody that has ever lived and ever will live. It's just a common part of life. But the other common thing, or the other for sure thing in this life, is that God will be sufficient in our grief. And we do sometimes when we go, grief takes a lot of different forms. You can grieve over, we think of grief just in losing somebody we love, but the truth is we can grieve over a lost job. We can grieve over a marriage that fell apart. We can grieve over health that we've lost. So there are a lot of things that we grieve over. But it's true, at some point in our grieving process, we do all ask why. We wonder, what have we done wrong? Or, what is God trying to show us? But probably the biggest grief that we have ever been through in our lives was when our daughter died. She was 3 years younger than Brandon, and she died when she was about 2 years old. And we probably asked the same questions, why? What was God trying to show us? Why are we going through this? But what we learned in that process is that He is enough for everything we will ever go through. Trying to understand grief is pretty counterproductive because we never will. God has his reasons and His purposes, and we found through that process of losing our daughter and trying to come to terms with it that He was enough, and we will not understand His reasons this side of heaven, but we knew His sufficiency, and we knew His grace. His grace every single day was there, and it was real, and it met us, and it was enough. And I think in our grieving situations, we think, well, God could have changed the situation had He chosen to. And that's true. He could have, because He is all powerful, and He's, omniscient, and He can do whatever He wants to do whenever He wants to do it. But I think that what we need to remember is sometimes He does, sometimes He will change the situation, but sometimes He just wants to change our hearts. And that has to be enough at the end of the day to know that He will meet us every day with the grace that we need every single day. He won't meet us with the grace we need for tomorrow, but He will be there today, and that's enough, and it's sufficient, and we need to thank Him for that. We need to be okay with not understanding, and just know that He will always be enough. And the part of the scripture that really struck me is but the Lord delivers him from them all. He doesn't necessarily deliver in that He changes things, but he absolutely does deliver in that He will be sufficient. And I think that's the part we need to hold on to. He is enough. God is always enough.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mom, for your reflection. Hopefully we'll see more of Mom. She's with us all week, so hopefully we'll have her chime in, and maybe more of Hadley would be great too, because she's a wonderful sidekick. Thank y'all for joining us today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
Bye.